One other thing that we will talk about is you can actually put in checklists. So if, for example, and I'm still in the More tab, I just clicked on checklist. You obviously do have the ability to pull up your POH, and you can look at the POH and look at it, step by step, and follow the checklist that way. But what a lot of people like to do, or like what I like to do, is I put it into a digital copy. It makes it easier to actually have, and then at the same time, you're not damaging this book that's 60 years old potentially or something like that, because it's required to have it. But so let's see. So our checklist here, we've got 2078 Golf. And what we see here is that we have all of our pre-flight inspections, our in-flight basically checklists, any post-flight checklists. Okay, so what we can see is if we were to actually go up to the very top, this could be where we start out. We get to the top, we get to the airplane, and then we want to start a pre-flight. All right, just like we would start a pre-flight and we pull out that little book and we have a laminated checklist. Well, it's the same thing. You can go ahead and click on here, pre-flight checklist, and what ends up happening is going to give you everything on this pre-flight checklist. All right, so we'll get into it. We'll open up the plane, check out all this stuff. As we get to it, we can go ahead and click on check, and we notice that it gives us that check mark. Another thing we can do is if we actually click on the circle where it says whatever it is, you can, so right now I'm going to click to the left of that control wheel. We notice it puts in that green check mark, right? So these are basically the ways these are set, just like any normal checklist, parking, brake, and it's set. So you're doing something, you're looking at it and verifying it's done. If you want to basically skip something, you could click on skip. It'll mark it as yellow. You can come back to it and then click on check when you're ready for it. If you really wanted to, you can actually click on speak and it'll basically say master switch on, and then it'll check itself off. Avionics power switch on, and it'll just kind of read itself off, all right? If you get to the point where you filled this out, you're done, but then now it's the next day and you want to come out and fly again, and we see here that it's got our little basically progress bar, if you will. If we click back into it and we want to start over, then we can click on that bottom left and click on reset, and now that's going to remove all of our check marks. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you guys. If you have any more questions, and remember we pulled this from flights and then we went into our profile and we figured all this stuff out. So there's just a lot of different things that Foreflight can do. You can, of course, absolutely, sorry. I'm going back into checklist. You can, of course, edit your checklist. So up at the top right-hand side, if we click on edit, we can even switch the order. So if we were to go here, we can switch our order of things, and we can edit what the things say. So our challenge word and then our response. And then another thing we can do here is ignition switch off, and we could say put the keys, whoops, not jets, put the keys on the hook. All right. Then at that point, we notice here, now we saw ignition switch off, and that little block underneath is going to show, put the keys on the hook. That's that little visual reminder. Oh, okay. All right. I turned the ignition off. Let me put them here so I don't lose them, because there's been times that I've done that. And my checklist doesn't say put the keys on the hook, but it has something similar where it's, there's been times that I'm ready to go and then I look down and the keys aren't there. And now I spend another 10 minutes looking for the keys because I left them in the cup holder, All right. So that's how you do that. When you are done editing, then you go ahead and just click on done. Going back, so these are all our normal. We see at the top right under 2078 Golf, these are our normal checklists. And then, of course, you can go into abnormal or emergency. So if there is an emergency, and we notice here in the top right-hand side how that just switched that little, the little basically red with the triangle in the middle. So if, say, for example, you're in the middle of cruising and something happens, it's going to take us a second to go back. What we could do is actually just click on that red square with the little triangle and the exclamation point in the top right-hand corner. You click on that, and it's going to immediately take us to the emergency procedures checklist, right? So you can go there, okay, all right, we just had engine failure during flight, and we're trying to restart, and it gives us now our checklist, okay? That's a very useful feature that you can have, or that Foreflight has. So any questions on that? But yes, absolutely, you can go in here and you can start a new checklist. Basically, you see even a basic template, and you can go in there and completely make your own checklist if you really want to.